In this content we will come to know greenhouse gas GHG accounting and GHG calculations will come to know by seeing this video. In this content we will come to know what is greenhouse gas protocol, greenhouse gas standard, overview of GHG scopes and emissions sources, GHG emissions classification, GHG accounting and methodology, emission factors, calculation guidance, that all we will come to know in this content definitely. And what is greenhouse gas? The emission into the Earth's atmosphere of any various gases like carbon dioxide that contribute to the greenhouse effect. So, and greenhouse gas emissions from human activities strengthen the greenhouse effect, causing climate change. Most is carbon dioxide from burning fossil fuel, coal, oil, and natural gas. It is. What is GHG protocol? GHG protocol establishes comprehensive global standardized framework to measure and manage greenhouse gas GHG emissions from private and public sector operations, value chain and mitigation actions. GHG emission in accordance with the following standards. Firstly, ISO 14064 Greenhouse Gas Part 1 specifications with guidance at the organization's level for quantification and reporting of GHG emissions and removals. And Greenhouse Gas Protocol, a corporate accounting and reporting standard. Overview of GHG scopes and emission sources. The GHG Protocol corporate standard covers the accounting and reporting of the following 6 greenhouse gases covered by the Kyoto Protocol. One is carbon dioxide, CO2. So mostly carbon from transportation, fossil fuel combustion, coals and crude oil etc. And methane, CH4, it is mostly from natural gas systems, landfills, agriculture, we are getting this. And nitrous oxide, N2O, it is mostly from manufacturing, agriculture, cars, industry etc. And fourth one, hydrofluorocarbons, HFCs. It is mostly from semiconductor manufacturing industries. And perfluorocarbon, PFCs, like it is aluminum industries, it is producing mostly. And sulfur hexafluoride, SF6, it is from electrical transmissions, magnesium production, so where we are getting these emissions. So mostly it is 6 emissions we are as per GHG protocol. GHG emission classification. According to the GHG protocol, the direct and indirect emissions are classified into 3 scopes. Direct emissions. Firstly, direct emissions. Scope 1. GHG emissions from operations that are owned or controlled by the organizations are covered under scope. This scope 1. And emission sources. First, generation of electricity, heat or steam from combustion of fuels in stationary sources within the organization. Physical or chemical emissions from manufacturing or processing of chemicals and other material. Combustion of fuels in company owned controlled mobile sources for transportation of material, products, waste and employees. Fugitive emissions from international or intentional or unintentional releases. GHG emissions classification. Indirect emissions. Scope 2. GHG emissions from generation of purchased or acquired electricity, steam, heating or cooling utilized by the company are covered under scope 2. So scope 1, which is produced by outside and supplied to the company, so like that it will comes under scope 2. So scope 1, whatever produced inside the factory premises, it will comes under scope 1. And scope 2, while coming to upward and downstreams, all are comes under scope 3. Indirect emissions. Scope 3, all indirect emissions not included in scope 2 from the company's value chain, both upstream and downstream emissions are covered under Scope 3. List of Scope 3 categories: upstream, downstream. Upstream Scope 3 emissions: 1. Purchased goods and services, capital goods, fuel and energy related activities not included in Scope 1 and Scope 2. Upstream transportation and distribution, waste generation in operations, business travel, employees commuting, upstream leased assets. And downstream Scope 3 emissions: processing of solid products, use of solid products, end of life treatment of solid products, downstream leased assets, franchises, investments comes under downstream Scope 3 emissions. So, like as we discussed, 6 gases are there. So, whatever the company owned sources we are getting emissions, that it will comes under Scope 1, that is direct Scope 1. And Scope 2, so purchased electricity, purchased goods and services, transportation, distribution. So whatever generating outside and it is coming to our plant, we are using inside, that we have control, so it will comes under Scope 2. And downstream and upstream and Scope 3, these are upstream leased assets, carbon, capital goods, employee commuting, business travel, these are waste generation and the operations, it is Scope 3. So and Scope 3 indirect investments, franchises, leased assets, end of life treatment of solid products, use of solid products, processing of solid products, transportation, distribution, all comes under Scope 3. GHG accounting methodology at India. Industry has to develop a criterion for accounting and reporting its greenhouse gas emissions in accordance with ISO 14064 and Greenhouse Gas Protocol. The group is disclosing its emissions data through its integrated reporting process. Companies are adopting the following steps for GHG emission management: define the scope and boundary, identify the GHG emission sources, collect and quantify GHG emissions, set emission reduction objectives and prepare action plan, involve employees and conducting trainings, implement emission reduction initiatives, achieve carbon neutrality. So these are the set targets step by step. Emission factors, Scope 1. So how we are taking these emission factors, what is the reference document, that will come to know. Stationary combustions, like coals, different types of coals are there. GHG emission factor kg of CO2 per terajoule 96,100. We have to take net calorific value, that a specific coal that we have to consider. So it will taking from a coal distributor, manufacturer, and we can test this coal in-house or NABL accreditation agencies, so they will produce. And furnace oil 77,400 emission factor as per IPCC guideline, like that. And simply average calorific value GCV based on the internal test reports or external reference sources like BE ratings, we can take that net calorific. So mobile combustion from company owned vehicles, so like fire extinguishers, refrigerant gas used in utility R22, so it is GHG protocol, GWP value, CR5 it is there, so that we can take the emission factors. And if you get emissions from leakages, passenger cars, passenger petrol, diesel, it is 2 point, like Indian GHG program, they are providing these emission factors. Scope 2. So Scope 2, generally we will purchase from electricity from outside. So unified in India, generally unified grid it will be there. So for unified grid, CA, Central Electrical Authority, it will provide the emission factor. So now it is in 2024 that emission factor is 0.71, like that they have provided. So we have to see that latest reports. The emission factor is for unified grid. All regional grids have been integrated as a single Indian grid covering all the states in March like 2024. In case of electricity consumption from the captive power plants, the emission factor is determined on the basis of CO2 emission from fuel combustions and electricity generated from the a particular plant. Like for scope 3 emission factors, indirect emissions from business travels like buses, metro, two wheelers, four wheelers, like that. For distance traveled, uh, for km it is like that. We have provided this emission factor kg CO2 per km India as per GHG protocol. So like that 0.0739 it is for metro, and 0.0325 for it is two wheeler, and 0.121 it is for four wheeler diesel if it is diesel. So indirect emission from employees commute, like emission ship, air, road, rail, distance travelled km, emission factor 0.015 km, kg CO2 per ton of km, like that they have provided India GHG protocol. The emission factor is for unified grid, all have been integrated as a single grid. In case of and calculation guidance, scope 1 calculation guidance, like that if you take it is diesel, you are consumed 1 kl of diesel. If you have consumed, the density is 0.82, so we have to convert into weight. Okay, so after that we have to multiply this calorific value into 10,800. So then we'll come to know the kilocalories of the 1 kl of diesel. So we have to convert to terajoules of coal into it should be multiplied by 4.184. Then after we have to divided by 10 to the power 9. Then we will come to know the terajoule of the value. So finally we will multiply with emission factor. So finally we will get the CO2 emissions in kgs. So for furnace oil also, so when we received this scale, we have to convert into weight, then we have to convert into calorific value, then we have to convert into terajoules. So we will take the emission factor from IPCC. So then multiply with the terajoule into emission factor, we will come to know this kg of CO2 emissions simply. For scope 2 also, purchased electricity 1000, if you are 1000 kWh, we have to multiply this emission factor in 2021 0.79, now it is 0.71. So we have to multiply this, then we'll come to know 790, like that CO2 kg of CO2 emissions. Okay, and calculation guidance for scope 3, like ship if you are material it is traveling by ship, then we'll, so how much distance for 1000 km, so 0.01 like that 15, we have to multiply km into this emission factor. We will come to know what is the CO2 emission of this ship travel. If it is a 1000 multiplied by 1.58, so we will come to know the CO2 emission of this air travel. So this same like road also 737.5, and rail it is 0.0096.96. So the more emission it is, more emission it is from air only, after that road, after that ship, after that rail. So this is the guidance. Thank you. Thanks for this video watching.